Have you ever tried to answer a simple question and realize you need to check 5 different places just to get an accurate answer? And by the time you're done hunting through all these apps, you've lost your entire morning? I used to deal with this thing every day and I absolutely hated it. But I learned that if I can set up Claude in the right way, I can use it to run my entire business just by chatting with it. So now, instead of jumping between dozens of different apps, I can manage everything from one chat. And no, you don't need to be technical or know how to write fancy prompts to make this work for you. I'll show you exactly how to use Claude to run your entire life. And if you stick around till the end, I'll show you the secret that lets me access this from anywhere in the world. So let's dive in. Okay, so every morning I actually do a customer health check to see how my business is doing. You know, I gotta know things like if the customers are paying on time, if they have any questions or concerns, how our growth looks like, and what we can do to improve. And to do that, let's say someone doesn't pay on time or there's some credit card glitch, I would probably have to do things like check their data on Stripe, get their email, and then make an invoice and then email it to them. Little things like that that can really eat up parts of your morning. So let's say we want to see if anything like that is happening. I actually set up a little test Airtable base just with customers and a bunch of other things, but we're going to be interacting with this Airtable, right? So here, now with natural language, I can just be like, use the Airtable MCP in test base to see if there's any customer payments missing. And what I did right there was use this thing called Whisperflow. And Whisperflow, it kind of allows me to, right here, press a button and then talk to my Claude as if it was a person, right? And one more little tidbit. Notice how I'm using Opus. And Opus is a little better at using these tool calls, so I suggest using that, right? But let's dive into what Claude is doing just to see if it's doing the right things. So I asked it to see if there's any missing customer payments, and what it's doing is it's listing my bases, and then it found the right base and then checking the customer table, right? So normally we'll have something like this, and then I'll go to the customer data, and then there's a bunch of data, but I don't want to go through this right now, right? So let's say I want to automate a bunch of this stuff. I'll speed up if this is taking too long, but essentially we'll see it's getting a list of all my customers. And the cool little part I use here, and you can do this with cursor as well, is you can just make it chime when it completes its responses. And what that will do is while it's working in the background, you can just start doing your other tasks, right? So for now, while it loads, I want to keep this kind of simple. So let's look at the results and we'll move on from there. I'll show you how to set this up. Also, in a minute, I'm actually going to show you how to do this entire thing in like 2 steps. We don't need any code or any fancy setups. It's actually super simple. So stick around. Okay, so it just finished up, and we'll see right here, payment issues in the test base. We'll see like they're marked as active. So let's say the small business helper guys, they are actually active in the community. We know that their payment is fine, and we probably just need to just email them. Maybe there's a credit card glitch up. So what we would need to do right now, actually, let me just go to Excalibur. Maybe I'll whip up a little. Okay, 1 second. I'm just gonna whip up a little diagram just to help explain this. Okay, there we go. So let's say right now someone's payment failed. All we need to do now is kind of just send them an email and check if this was intentional. And when we do that, we have to kind of create an invoice, go to Stripe, find their email, and then do all of this, draft a nice email. And you would have to check a bunch of different tools to get that, right? But here, what we can do, we would have to do a bunch of different steps to get to that email, to basically build the invoice, build the payment link, and then email it to him, right? So let's say we first, just to go step by step, to use the Stripe MCP to make a payment link for $297, all right? So let me hit play. And for a quick other tidbit, you will see right here in this little thing, we can see all the tools it can use. And I'm going to show you guys how to set that up in a second, all right? Okay, so let's say you guys are having problems with this. There are a couple different things you can do. And right here, let's say I'm just gonna disconnect it. Boom. And then I'm gonna reconnect it. Sometimes these MCPs have some problems like this. So this is just live troubleshooting. Let's go for that. Go for that. Great. Okay. And normally I recommend quitting and then restarting it. But let's see what happens. Okay, do you have access to the Stripe MCP now to create a payment link for $297? Okay, cool. So we just troubleshotted live on what we're doing, right? So we'll see first what it does. It basically just calls the API to build these things for the people we know, all right? So we know it's going through, it's created the price, and then now it created a payment link. And then boom, now we have a payment link for $297. Okay, so let's open it up just to see if it works. Okay, great. Okay, this looks pretty good. All the names and everything you'll see are correct. So let's go back. And it drafted an email. Okay, looks pretty good. Say my name is Samin, company is booked.ai, and then use the Zapier MCP tool with Gmail to draft an email and send it to Danila. Yeah, I think I got it. So little things like my name, I told it to correct it, my company, and then I know the Zapier MCP tool with Gmail will do that. So I'm going to get it to create that draft and send it to Danny, who's my teammate. Okay, so let's go for that. Can you just send it? Okay, I'm feeling a little lazy, so I just wanted to send it, and I want to show you guys that functionality as well. See, like little actions like this, you can just like have this going on in the background in like a second screen or something, and then get things like this, tasks like this done. Okay, cool. So let's go to my email and actually check if it got sent, right? And let's go to my sent. And we'll see, okay, cool. Quick fix needed, payment processing issue. This is the wrong email, but that's fine. We'll see how it drafted this email. Looks pretty good. And this one, okay, cool. Let me show you now how to set this all up. Let's say we want to have our setup in the same way that I kind of did, right? And to do that, I have a little diagram I want to show you. And how everything works is basically like this. So you want to interact with Claude, and Claude will basically use all these different applications, right? And to use all these different applications, we can classify them as basically skills. And that's what MCPs really are. It's your Claude agent's ability to interact with other applications, all right? And to find and give the ability to interact with those applications, we can find those apps through things like Smithery, through Zapier, through Composio, or even Claude itself, all right? So let me show you an example of that. So let's go back to Claude, and you'll see in this button right here, if you hit it, there's a bunch of different little tools, all right? So what we used was Stripe, we used Airtable, we used Gmail. And I'm gonna connect and show you how easy it is. All you have to do is if you go here and you hit manage connections, right? And then if you hit browse connections, you'll see a whole app store for Claude that are approved by stuff. So you can see how Airtable is approved. You can literally control your Mac with it. You can use Stripe. You can control your Spotify if you want to play different music. You can fill PDFs, or you can even browse the web, right? So, for example, all of them kind of do the similar way to authenticate. So I'll show you Google Drive. And what you want to do is just like that. You just hit it, and then you OAuth, and OAuth is just hitting this sign on like this. and you should be authenticated. Boom. Okay, cool. And now you'll see we can use Drive and all this stuff. So this is one way of doing it, but there's so many millions of apps that I want to show you some cool other ways. All right. So another easy way to do this is going to Smithery. So Smithery AI is literally the gateway to the world. It's actually framed really well. So let's say we want to use an MCP, and they have thousands of these. All right. So let's say we want to use Exa. And Exa is really cool for like finding really niche things or scraping the web at a glance. So you'll see here, there's Claude Desktop. And if you just hit this and you hit connect, it should be good to go. And then we hit copy on this, and then we go to terminal, and then we just paste it in. And then after you wait, it's gonna be installed in a couple seconds. All right. Okay, so here I'm gonna hit yes. You'll see right here, and we go to Claude. See, it's reloading because we just installed it. And then if we hit this thing, we will see Exa. Cool. And now if we do something like use Exa MCP to tell me what's going on in Hacker News. Okay. I'll let that load in the back while I show you the other stuff. All right. So the other really good thing you want to use is this thing called Zapier. So MCP Zapier, and I'll show you how to install those. All right. So, okay, you go to Zapier MCP. Oh, this is the wrong link. Okay, and you just do get started. It should be super simple, and I'll make a brand new one just to show you guys what it looks like. And let's say, oh, I already have a Claude one. So here, you go to Claude, and then what you want to do is you want to add a tool, okay? And then you can basically do your authentication through Zapier. So let's say I want, I don't know, Google Sheets. So I can edit my Google Sheets and add all, these are all the tools that you should be able to do. And then you just hit connect, and it's going to do the same OAuth process I just showed you guys. Great. So I can now control my Google Sheets with my Claude. And the next step, what I would have to do is hit connect. Okay, I got to connect. And how does this work? Okay, so you want to copy this URL. You want to go to Claude. Oh, I didn't allow it. Whoops. Okay, keep working on the back. But here, I'm going to go here. I'm going to hit manage connectors. Okay, I'm going to hit add custom connector. I'm going to paste that URL here and then say Google Sheets Zapier URL. You can name this whatever you want. It's just a name, but the URL is the main thing. And you'll see it's right here, and we're pretty much done. And if you just hit connect, boom, you hit allow, and you're done. Okay, now you have access to Google Sheets through your Claude. See? And you have 30 different tools that you can use. Okay, so Smithery and Zapier are a couple different ways where you can start connecting these tools. And after you connect these tools, just feel free to like experiment, talk to Claude, and it'll probably do what you want it to. All right, so that's how to set it up. But I actually hated the fact that I could only do this from my desktop. So let me show you how to actually set that up. And it's actually really, really simple, if not even easier. All right, so let's go through this. So right here, we own this app and we made it, and it's called Booked In AI. I'm just gonna log in, and let's say we want one of these AI agents on our phone, right? What I envision is kind of just like using or texting like a SMS number or a WhatsApp chat to do all of this stuff. So if I wanted that to happen, first I would have to connect my WhatsApp. And to do that, I would just have to go to WhatsApp right here, boom, and it will come up with a QR code. All right. Then actually, let me start recording my phone so you guys can see this as well. Okay, so you want to go to settings, you want to go to link to devices, and then you want to hit link device, and then you'll see a little QR code come up, and then you just have to scan it, and boom, it's the easiest thing ever. So now WhatsApp is going to try to log in, and okay, there we go. We just logged in to our WhatsApp. Okay, now I think it's just taking a bit, and let me reload right here. Okay, so this is my number. You'll see WhatsApp is connected as a channel, and now I'm going to make an agent so that we can do this. All right, so how do you make an agent? So you just go to AI agents, you go to my agent. This is so easy, guys. And then you can create agent, let's say assistant. All right, then what we want to do is we want to go to channel. And actually, this is really cool. This model is really, really good at doing tool calls. Kimi K2, it's a new Chinese model that came out, and I actually really like it. All right, so whoops, I should configure my WhatsApp. So Moonshot AI, Kimi K2. Okay, I hit save, and then you'll see there's this thing called tools here, right? And how do you connect these tools? So if I just hit manage tools, and then go to apps, you'll see we actually install Composio here, so it makes it really, really simple to install any tool you want. But for example, let's say we want to like check my calendar. All right, so Google Calendar, let's say, okay, let's install this. We're going to do the create auth application. Boom. Okay, so you'll hit this button and then you'll see all the different apps. You just hit save and then you're good to go there. Then you go to your agents. Let's find assistant. Okay, assistant. And then we go to channel, WhatsApp, and then tools. Let's give it my Google Calendar tool. Boom. And say, help the user manage their calendar from this. Save. And rather than me just having to go here and do it, I'm just going to show you guys the tool call right here. So I go to WhatsApp. It's like, what's on my calendar for Monday? Okay, I just hit save, and it's gonna take a bit. The first time normally takes a bit, so I'm gonna speed it up. So it's gonna process, and it should tell me, access my calendar, and tell me what's on my calendar for Monday. All right. Okay, great. So you'll see this is in my calendar. Actually, this is kind of cool. Mention calendar on Monday. All right, so all of the stuff. Yeah, I have all the stuff right now, and it can already access my calendar and do what I want. Cool. So we have that agent already, and I can access this from my WhatsApp just by doing this. WhatsApp configuration, select account. I'm going to select my number and selective handling. Let's say I want to say banana. So basically, I don't want everyone. This is my WhatsApp number. The agent will now already lives in my WhatsApp agent. So I'm going to show you guys a little demo right here. I'll try to post it on the screen. Oh, and if I didn't mention, I'm going to have a lot of these guides and prompts. It's going to be inside the resources community we have that's free. So go grab it, and it'll probably make your life way easier. All right. So let's get back into it. Okay. Now that we have an agent on our phone, right, I want to show you something really cool and a really good use case I've really been liking and using a lot with my team. And that really is just this. First of all, let me give you guys a quick tour of the Airtable test base. And where did it go? Okay. So let me give you guys a quick tour of the Airtable test base. And the really cool part about this, all of this was made with Claude. Okay. So for example, I'll show you guys kind of something like that. Let's say I'm going to delete all this stuff. Okay. Boom. Okay. So I have no customer data anymore. Okay. Now, if I go to Claude and I say, let me see if I have the Airtable MCP. Okay. Can you create 10 dummy customers in my test base? Can you create 10 dummy customers in my test base in Airtable with the Airtable MCP? Okay, while this is working, let me just show you around, right? So one really cool thing that we've been doing is actually keeping a work log. And this is also dummy, but like every day, because Claude has access to the entire table and it can change it, what we can do is, rather than actually having to manually go and update our tasks and all the stuff like that, what we can do is literally talk to our Claude about the projects we have going on, and then tell it to update these projects every day. So if we just have it scheduled for us that once in the morning we're going to say, I'm going to do XYZ, please fill in the Airtable using the Airtable MCP, it literally can go in. Like, what Claude will do is will make a whole list of tasks for you for that day. And then let's say you've completed it at the end, what you can do is you can say, hey, I have finished XYZ, I am blocked in these tasks, and it will log it in your work and then also check off the tasks. So rather than being really annoyed about actually having to go and like click these things off manually, if you just update it yourself, it becomes super easy to maintain. And I think you can apply this to a lot of different industries where data collection from a lot of different people is really tough. And if you use tools like, let's say, Booked-in, right? Rather than you having to essentially go to a desktop and enter it that way, what you can do is you can literally just make a channel, and a voice channel, which is just a phone number. And this is done through kind of VAPI, but we make it like significantly easier, where if you just have this number and people can go in, they can call this number and then be like, hey, for this project I did XYZ, it will update and keep everyone on track. So that's been a real game changer for a lot of different companies, and I encourage you to actually kind of like take a stab at it, and I think it'll be really good because a lot of people can stay on track with this using AI. Okay, so it just filled in the dummy data. Let's go check it out. Okay, boom. I'm gonna reload it just for fun, and then customer data. Let's go to customer data. Oh, I think it died. Can you fill the customer data table in the test base with this? Can you go to the test base and then create a new table called customer data and make like 3 dummy customers? Okay, so you see how I just asked it to kind of create a new table for customer data and create new dummy customers. This is the exact reason why we kind of switched everything to Airtable using the MCPs and using Claude and Cursor to kind of interact with it, is because it kind of creates a really seamless interface where we kind of can interact with our database and everything we know in a very seamless manner, right? So you'll see how it's kind of like doing this stuff and it creates this customer data. Wow, cool. Let's say we want to give it some more detail. Like, can you add to this customer data table something like how much they've paid, how long they've stayed, make like 3 more customers, and then make it like a 6-month process our business has been running, and then see how many people have churned, how many people have grown, so we can make some visualizations off this. So that's kind of like a really chunky task, because there's a lot of things you have to kind of think about and do. But, you know, the fact that we're using Opus, it kind of understands all that, and it can take multiple inputs, reason on what's the best thing to do, and then start doing that. So we'll see in the customer table actually these things being actually populated real time. So actually right now, because we asked this, did you notice that like these kind of like total paid, months active, these things have literally just been populated? So now it kind of just created those fields, and now we can see in real time it's updating these kind of records, right? So these records are being updated, and let's say something does happen, rather than us having to do it, we can just tell Cursor to make these updates. And of course, this doesn't have to be manual. A lot of this stuff can be automated. I'm just showing you how easy it is to kind of use this kind of interface and a database to have everything stored and working together seamlessly, right? Okay, so let's say this has been updated. Now we can see a bunch of different monthly plans, how much the total they paid. Now this is really cool, and the reason we're kind of using Airtable now is this is just a test table, but let's remove this. All right, okay, whatever. Can you make a new table so we can visualize things like our month over month growth, how many things customers we've grown, who's churned, etc. And Airtable actually has their own AI. I think they're calling it Omni or something like that. But Claude can't really interact with the visualizations. But what it can do is it can create all the data inside the tables. And then I'll speed this up, but you'll see that Omni will literally go forth and then start making these things for us. So let's say, can you create some visualizations for the graphs we can see for our customers? Okay, so now I just asked her to do and create some visualizations. And these are normal things people kind of need to do in their day-to-day lives. There's a bunch of data. They need to summarize it. They need to visualize it, all this stuff. So rather than using 5 different things, okay, what is this? Can you make a new interface so I can visualize all this data about my customers, things like month over month growth, if there was some churn, etc.? So now what I kind of asked it to do is literally just create me a dashboard, and so I can visualize the customer data that Claude generated. And you can see, this is so cool, that now it can show us our customers, it can show us the churn customers, stuff like that. A lot of this has to do with just a bit more prompting and seeing if you have much more data, then it's going to be a lot easier to use. But this is just a very quick start where you can just use AI to actually get ahead really fast. You can use it if you have, let's say, an Excel sheet. You can dump it into Claude, be like, populate this on Airtable. It'll do all of that. And then you can just ask it to make those visualizations so you can have all your data in one place, right? So you can just let this AI do all the work for you. And when you combine multiple different tools that you use day to day, it becomes really effective. Okay, now we just covered a lot. And if you're watching this and you see the power of having an AI system like this and really aren't sure where to start, I recommend just booking a call with me or the team down below. And we can, walk through your specific business needs and figure out the best path forward. Whether that includes using a simple tool that we just showed, like Booked in AI, or just to get your custom setup for a bigger org, we're always happy to help out, and we've been helping a lot of people. So let's keep at it. Check this video out. I think you might also get a lot of value out of this, and we'll see you next time.